Emmerdale confirms Celia's horrific final scenes, and the twist no one saw coming. I genuinely need a moment to breathe after this, because the adrenaline is still coursing through me. After what feels like a lifetime of waiting, Emmerdale has finally delivered the reckoning viewers have been begging for. Celia Daniels is dead, and her final moments are as shocking, disturbing, and darkly poetic as the monster she became. From the second Celia arrived in the Dales, her downfall felt inevitable. She wasn't merely a villain, she was a walking nightmare, operating a modern slavery ring in plain sight, poisoning lives while hiding behind the facade of a respectable farm owner. Every episode deepened our hatred, every scheme added another name to her ever-growing list of enemies. Ding dong, the witch is dead, and never has that phrase felt more earned. Jay Griffith's performance as Celia has been nothing short of phenomenal. Week after week, she radiated menace, delivering one of the most chilling antagonists the show has seen since the darkest days of Meena Jutla. But let's be honest, Celia Daniels had not a shred of redemption. Human trafficking, drug distribution, psychological torture. If the police had lined up suspects, half the village would have had motive. The emotional devastation she inflicted on April Windsor alone would have justified her downfall. April wasn't just exploited, she was systematically broken. Gaslit into believing she was a murderer, coerced into silence, terrorized into obedience. For a while, it genuinely felt as though April might snap and kill Celia herself, a theory many viewers secretly hoped would come true. And then there were Marlon Dingle and Rona Goskirk, parents pushed beyond desperation. Paying £2,000 a week simply to keep their daughter alive. Their fear, rage and helplessness poured through the screen, making Celia's cruelty all the more unbearable. Beowulf's storyline cut just as deep. Groomed, enslaved, stripped of dignity and purpose, every appearance of Bear was a reminder of the very real horrors this storyline dared to confront. Viewers weren't just watching, they were pleading with him to fight back. Even Moira Dingle, one of the toughest women Yorkshire has ever produced, wasn't spared. When Celia dared to weaponize Moira's brain tumor against her, it was a moment that made jaws drop. That slap was iconic, but in hindsight, it was merely the calm before a far more twisted storm. Because Celia's downfall didn't come from the Dingles, it didn't come from the police, it came from the one person she believed she owned completely, her son. In a devastating masterstroke of writing, Celia's undoing arrived at the hands of her adoptive son, Ray Walters. The psychology of their relationship is as fascinating as it is tragic. Ray grew up believing he owed Celia his life, rescued from a broken home, shaped into her loyal soldier. But what she gave him wasn't love, it was control. She molded him into the charming frontman of her criminal empire, stripping away his humanity piece by piece. Ray became the bait. The enforcer, the mask that lured victims like April into Celia's web. And yet, even monsters can fracture. Ray's awakening came in the form of Laurel Thomas. Against all odds, he fell in love, and worse, she loved him back. That relationship cracked the cage Celia had built around him, showing him a glimpse of a normal, moral life. And Celia noticed. Terrified of losing control, she tightened her grip. The festive season brought everything to a boiling point when Celia ordered Ray to commit the ultimate act of loyalty, kill April Windsor and erase the evidence. But on New Year's Eve, Ray finally broke. Standing over a terrified, pleading April, he couldn't do it. Instead, he gave her money and told her to disappear, defying his mother for the first time. The scene was electric. Joe Absalom delivered a performance worthy of awards, capturing years of conflict in a single, shattering moment, but Celia was never going to forgive betrayal. The final confrontation was brutal, raw, and inevitable. Years of abuse, manipulation and suppressed trauma erupted, and then, in one irreversible act, Ray plunged a knife into his mother's chest. Celia Daniels died in the arms of the son she twisted into a weapon. It was dark, It was poetic, and it was devastating. Her final words, "I'm so proud of you," sent chills down the spine. Even in death, she was manipulating him, grooming him into a killer to her final breath. It's one of the most disturbing mother-son dynamics soap has explored since Norman Bates. Ray is free from Celia, but at an unimaginable cost. He has crossed a line from which there is no return, and as if that weren't enough, Emmerdale has now confirmed another shock exit tied to this storyline. Theories are flying. Could April flee the village, taking Ray's money and choosing survival over justice? Could Dylan leave, crushed by guilt and trauma? Or is Ray himself destined to exit, either in handcuffs, a coffin, or on the run? He can't simply stab his mother and return to pints at the Woolpack. Laurel's forgiveness has limits. The village's patience is gone. Marlon, Rona, Dylan, all have reasons to want blood, prison, revenge, or disappearance. Whatever comes next will reshape the Dales forever. And then there's Beowulf. Celia claimed he was already dead, but viewers refused to believe it. You don't kill a character like Bear off-screen without consequence. The actor's words offer a glimmer of hope. Hope does spring eternal. And hope is exactly what this story demands, because Bear didn't want power. He wanted purpose. He wanted love. If there is justice left in this story, Bear will survive, and the Dales will finally begin to heal.